another hurry up and load, you dimwit. Thank you very much. This is actually going to be another mirror request. Best put it. I do not like how that thumbnail came out, but oh well, we're going to go with it. And specifically, going to be going on about the idea of using a blade, or sometimes known as an anthem, or just any specific apparatus that's sharp, pointy, can cut. Kind of add some humor to that, and actually incorporating it into occult means in practice. So, in actuality, depending on what you have available, you can just use a simple blade, or you can even use like this side. Or if you want to get a little bit extra creative and fancy, technically there's no rule book that says you can't use one of these. And this is actually a steel fan. But I'll be getting back to that in a second. Usually an anthem is a blade that's been given the intention to pretty much be used in a magical way. Oh, katana, very funny. Oh, that takes me back. But specifically mine, which is so happened to be named Famine, looks like this. And this is, I actually really don't use it that much because primarily this thing is used for two things, only those two things. Number one, if something has protections on it, this thing will just cut it away. Or the other one, having it kick the bucket. In a kind of funny way of putting it though, but still. This thing is not a toy. I don't use it for anything else. I don't go around being like, oh, no. In fact, I actually was living with someone who thought it might be cute to pick this up and swing it around like if he was in like Dungeons and Dragons. The next day he got very sick. Started vomiting. Guess he just touched it. But nonetheless. So why on earth, besides, having it have a specific intention, why on earth would you want to use one of these for your practice? Well, for number one, you could use it to actually point out the corners. Like if you're having like the pretty much like the 4 directions, or you want to get extra fancy, you can go the 4 directions and then the northwest, southwest, east, west, and all that. The other quadrant directions, so that way there's 8 directions altogether. But if you want to take it to the extreme, you can do like the west, like the northwest west, northwest north. If you want to get extra fancy, you can, but I like keeping it simple because less headache. But specifically, this is also used to symbolize, like, say, if you have something on you, like, say, if you have energy on you that you don't want, you can just do it simply like that. Just start cutting off and cutting away energy that's on you. And usually, when you have a blade that's specifically only meant to be used for ritual purposes, it's pretty suggested that you have some kind of cloth to put it in. Usually it's suggested to be black, like as such. It doesn't have to be as printed as this. It can be just a basic black one. But specifically, the reason why you want a black, a dark color, is that when you have it just out there in the open, it's getting influenced. But now when you have this over the top of it, it's not going to be really as effective. Because don't make me get the mute remote on you, dog. But anyway. Zeus? killing me, dog. But still, this thing, pretty much all it's going to do is it's going to absorb everything that pretty much is trying to get towards the blade and influence it. That way it still keeps its intention. But with that in mind, this blade specifically, whenever it comes out of, oh, that sounds so vulgar, when it's not in this covering, or whenever somebody else sees it, like right now, it does not have, it's not like as neat as it should be. So it doesn't have that kick to it. So it's kind of, hey Kayla. And I'll actually show the way of actually consecrating a blade. But just understand, once you consecrate something as a magical tool, it's stuck as a magical tool. You can cleanse it and pretty much restore it back to the way it was, but it's still a magical item, nonetheless. Zeus? Drive me nuts. And that goes for almost pretty much anything else too. So with that in mind. So, essentially, this is why I'm a cat person. Stop it, Zeus. Killing me, dude. But nonetheless. So, when you're consecrating something like this, you can use it just as something as simple as Heather. You could use brownies. Where's my Frankie? Nasties. Just like you can take some frankincense oil, just drop on it, and being very mindful because this is sharp. You actually start from the bottom, work your way up, get the intention for it, and then it'll be consecrated that way. Just make sure you tell it what its purpose is. Otherwise, it's just going to be like, okay, I'm now covered in frankincense, but now what? I'm now a oiled blade. Okay, we have a pointy oiled blade here. Now what was the point of that? You have to make sure it has a purpose for being oiled up. But using mine as an example, no I don't. So let me grab some paper towels real quick. Scooch. The advantages of being skinny because I almost just knocked it over. I don't mind the hot mess behind me. Because usually when I'm doing multiple things at once, I kind of be like meh with a, yeah, because I'm a big multitasker. Anywho, so when you consecrating something with the intention to actually like either cause harm to something or cause damage, usually what I do is I always instead have something like paper towel. Especially when you have an oil that has something in it that's kind of hazardous for the health, like this one. This one actually has oh, well, it definitely still has its kick. Oh. That thing still stuns, but anyway. So this thing, spider webs, or cobwebs, oleander flower, well, yeah, oleander flower. Oh boy. Oh, red dye, obviously. Pretty much where a rat got caught in a mousetrap and beheaded. Yeah, some of the dirt from that when it was stained with his blood. Yeah, that's in here. Along with poppy seed, some rose thorns. There's one more thing that I put in there. I'm trying to remember what it was. Can't remember. I put that one last other ingredient in there, but yeah, this thing, yeah, is intended to end something. Then there's this one, which is actually the one that's actually the protection breaker. And I'm going to be using this one for the example. Actually. Okay, that one's not as... That one's nowhere as bad as that one. Because that one is like stunned. So anyway. So you have your first sharp bladed apparatus that you want to make magical and occulty woozy wooey with. Okay. Splendito. So, like always, you don't know who has been handling this. You don't know where they've stuck it. Obviously, they haven't stuck it up there because if they did that, wow. Never heard of 3 witches, 1 blade. Never heard of something like that. Oh, for goodness sake. Moving along, though. So, having no idea where this thing's been, of course, you have to make it a void and neutral. Yeah, I know. Freaky deaky do. But anyway, so there's many ways you can go about it. Like, again, you can blow it. Don't put this in your mouth. No. Blow the BS away. Put this in pure spring water. Probably would not suggest putting this in a hot fire because you might bend it. Or you can, the other way may not be a good idea too, but that's why I have the selenite instead. Actually put a crystal to it and actually cleanse it off that way. And don't be thinking that, oh, I can just stab this in the ground like sword in the stone. Don't do that because you're going to chip the blade. So anyway. So now you have, as the example, like a void blade. Okay, now it's like, meh. So now you got to give it the intention. So now, the preferred way, if you're in a pinch, is just have the intention being in your mind. Take a deep breath in. And then just pretty much just blow onto the blade. And then flip the other way. And that way it's actually is giving the intention onto the blade. And one of the ways that I like to do it, again, we have the magical woozy woo oil for it. So, since this one is safe for the skin, I will actually put it on my fingers. Like I said, this one is not safe for the skin. It's not because, well, I don't think it'd be a good idea to put something on your skin that has dirt from where a rat got beheaded. So yeah, I kind of don't want to have rabies on my skin. Potential rabies. But anyway, so. Okay, there's some in there. So essentially what you're going to do is put it on the fingers. And this is actually like if you're going to give it the intention with the magical oil. I kind of wouldn't think you would want to put like a love oil onto a blade unless if you're wanting to. Yeah. Yeah, and funny enough, oleander is actually my actual favorite Saturnian floral plant. It's so pretty, but you put it in your mouth, well, game over, man. Congratulations. You got taken out by a pretty flower. Anyway. So, preferably, you want to work your way down. Cupcake. So, actually, that's pretty good because oleander is also a really potent love protection plant. Like if you were to have a love spell going on, you take some oleander, some of the leaves and the bark, you put it around, and then you take the flowers and then you put it pretty much inside that barrier with the working in the middle. That way the bark protects and the floral part actually adds like a second layer, and that just kind of makes it pretty inside. So that way it entraps and it keeps the love in, but still. So now with the intention on there, kind of blow it to activate it and massage it in. Work your way down just like that. Or, you know, we can do it the other way too. I'm one of those that pretty much just says, just as long as you get it on to whatever you're getting it onto, it doesn't matter which way, as long as it's on there. And there's the way that I like to pretty much seal it is, again, just blow it. One way, flip, and it's ready for use. But now say, for an example, if you have an oil that's not safe for the skin. This is where you gotta be, you know, you gotta use your head. And as you notice, I'm not putting my face that close to it. So here. So now we're just gonna go just like this. Just like that. Quick, to the point. So as you can definitely see, we got some tomato juice on there. It's not tomato juice. And avoiding touching it, we're gonna just flip it like this. Alliope. And just like that. Nice, simple, and there's no way that, you know, now there's no way that this is gonna come into contact with me at all. So now we throw this into the garbaggio and try not to flat on my face. Let me just put the lid back on that real quick before doing anything else. And then essentially, this thing is ready to do what it's supposed to do. So from there, you can, at least for this thing, anything that has protections on it, regardless of what it is, now that this thing is imbued, but then again it's imbued with both, this is going to be like specifically used to target, like if somebody has like some protections up, one slash and they're gone. But then once I use it, it doesn't have its kick. But now say like if there's something that needs to, you know, go away and, you know, help daisies be pushed up. And keep in mind that this blade is not intended to end a life. If it's alive, this thing is not intended just to kill that. If there's a situation that's going on that's BS, I say for an example, if I'm being like mistreated, abused, this thing can be like, no, we're not going to do this anymore. And just have that situation get beheaded. Done with it. And then again, it has to be recharged. But as always, when you're not using your magical bladed apparatus, I'm going to try not to whiff this. You put the right side up first. Well, obviously you put the right side up, obviously. That's supposed to be a punny joke. You go right, and then you go over left. Because usually with the right, that's the light, and then the left is the dark. And then we're wanting to keep this thing in the dark, so that way it maintains what it's intended to do. And wrap. And then this thing just sits in its space. And whenever I need to use it, I just take it from its cloth and then just when deemed fit. But I have to recharge it again because you guys saw it. And usually the idea is same thing goes with like Mojo bags. If someone else that is not really a part of your space in the magical aspect at least, if they see a magical tool like this, it can influence it. So it's best to pretty much re-intention it. Just make sure they don't touch it because it'd be a hot mess and then you got to retune it again. But pretty much this thing is all ready to go, other than not right now. And then this just sits on its stand, which is on hell space. But now say if you want to get fancy, you can also use even a simple hand fan as for the same thing. Except you probably will not be able to, if you're having something like a self fan, a bamboo fan, even a simple steel fan like this, or even one of those paper fans, yeah. I mean, it'll still do the same thing, but you can't really be as, you can't be as hard with them, but what you can do, you can actually use this the same way as you would like a wand, because it's still pointing out the directions. The advantages with the fan though, you got the air element and now you can do this. This is where it gets fancy. Say for an example, if you wanted to actually have an intention, ride the wind. That sounds so odd, but you know, just go with it, okay? Say for an example, if you have an intention that you want to woozy-woo someone and they're quite a far ways away and you're not able to, you know, get to them. Like say they're in a different state. Oh, we can do something about that. We can use, come hither. Yeah, that one. What you can do is take it like a simple, this one's called Love Me Damn It. Literally, that's what it's called. Just get your fingers, you know, greased. You know, and like right down the middle right there. So now essentially all you have to do now is just aim it in the right direction of where that individual is. So say for an example, the individual that I want to target is in the east. Okay, not a problem. You get your compass out, but for this example, where I'm sitting and where I'm facing, that's south, that's north, that's west, that's east. So I would be facing this way. Open this thing up. Say the intention in my head repeatedly. And then just fan the intention out that way. And then when you sweep of the fan that way, the air that gets cut and directed that way rides the wind and the intention gets sent out that way. Just like that. That's kind of I'm actually surprised that nobody hasn't even spoken about that. That's actually very quick and easy, simple, using the air element for a spell working. You can even also use the same thing too for, like, say if you want to do a house cleansing. Simple. Get yourself a, come hither. No, don't get yourself a slither. Brownies, I just had that blessing oil, now you just took it again. There it is. There we go. If you want to do a regular house blessing, get your regular simplistic way. No, that's not my blessing oil, you little nasties. That's my love healing one. Oh, killing me, guys. Okay, I'm gonna give you a count to 3. You know what happens when we get to 3? Oh, perfect. Thank you. Give me that, like nasties. Okay. So you take your blessing oil, grease your fingers again. Even that kind of sounds so odd. Hashtag grease thy palms or phalanges. Just like before. That doesn't matter which way you grease it. And then just right down the middle. And try your best to also touch the fabric, because that's pretty much the main thing that's actually going to carry it on the wind. And then pretty much you just go to each room and then you just fan in the blessing. And really the direction of it doesn't really matter, because you'd want to actually stand at the doorway facing inward, but also making sure that you banish and cleanse everything out of it first, and then facing the room through the doorway, open the fan up, and then bless thyself with a blessed wind, or something like that. And then repeat for each room in the house, including the walk-in closet if you got one. And then that's pretty much another thing you can do with the fan. And if you are wondering, well, what about a sword? Well, the same thing with a sword. It's just that, you know, it has a bit of a longer reach and a sheath. But depending on what your intention is with the blade, because there are some schools of thought that say, well, the sword is the element of fire, and then some say it's the element of air, just like the blade. It's just whatever you're deeming fit for it. As long as it makes sense to you, woo. If it doesn't make sense to you, then why even bother doing it? And pretty much, there is another blade called, what's that called? It's shaped like it's a blade that's kind of shaped like a crescent moon. What's that blade called? But pretty much that kind of a blade you can use for, like, if you're ritually cutting herbs like rosemary. That's another blade that you can consider investing in and using. But remember, if it's specifically meant just to chop herbs and cut herbs, then that's kind of the only thing that is meant to do. Unless if you have it meant for something else. But that's, again, up to you, and you can decide to do whatever you deem fit. If you're like me, that kind of just goes on a whimsy whim. Well, sometimes you are in a situation where you're like, okay, I have my Morty, but I don't have my Pesci, so we're gonna have to improvise with like this. Smash with that. Do what you have to do in the current moment, and sometimes you have to improvise on the spot. And I can't tell you how many times I've had to do that. Like, for an example, instead of using regular paper, boy, I had to use a receipt as an attention paper. Hey, it worked, okay? That's all that matters. But anywho, so. Now, is there any other questions involving using a magical bladed apparatus in your workings? Any other things at all? Yeah, bowling. Yeah, bowling. That's what it was. And there's also like the, well, this is kind of going into the martial arts area, but like it's a Chinese weapon, like a sun and moon blade, where you have one blade going like making like going like that, and then you have another blade going like that. Yeah, that's a unique weapon. No. If there's any other questions, if not, then it's a, like always, open floor. And I'm kind of conflicted if I'm going to be doing like the tarot reads live, because if I do them live, I'm going to get distracted. But I don't know, we'll see. But I've also got in my notebook. Oh my god, you're killing me, dude. Okay, brownies. Pen, please. Of course, you have to give me a... Oh, give me that one. What you got against pink? Anyway. So. Essentially, this is how it's going to be flowing. Well, flowing, yeah, okay. Essentially, the way that the reads are going to go is going to kind of follow this kind of formatting. The reads are going to start with essentially a simple yet quick general. And then the oracle ones, that's going to be like the spiritual theme of the month altogether. But then the spread that comes after those pull will be like the simple general spread. And then the next spread with the same deck will be all pretty much because I've actually decided it's just going to be a love spread for already with free to claim or single. And then after that one, best for last, then it'll be another love spread, but primarily focused for same gender, like, gay ratings. Yeah, because I don't think I've seen a gay rater yet, but then again, what do I know? So pretty much that's really how it's gonna be. The two oracles, the goddess and daemons, will be the spiritual focus, and then a general spread, a love spread that's for. That was an odd noise I was hearing. The love spread that's kind of just meant for I just drew a blank. But like a male and female. And then if they're single or not. And also the sign part too, so. And then the same thing for the magical rainbow ones like me. For that sign too, so. That way everybody gets it. That's gonna sound so bad. That way everybody gets to have a taste of it. Vulgar. So that way. That's what the idea is. So, I don't know when I'm going to start. Actually, I think, wait, what's today? Let me see. Today is the 25th, so probably, maybe I might start tonight, but I'm not sure if I want to do them live because I might get distracted. A carpet knife, I've never seen a carpet knife before. Then again, pretty much all the places except 2 to 3 that I've lived in, they've been hardwood floor. Hardwood or tile. And boy, I hate hardwood or tile. Because when you have a selenite palm stone or worry stone in your pocket and it decides to jump out, it splits into Zeus, I swear to Lord Lanta. Is there anything you don't bark at, dude? I hope so. That made no sense, but still. Better stop barking. Honey bear? Now you wonder why, Anyway. It's not that I don't like dogs, it's just I don't like having constant barking. And especially in this neighborhood where I'm at, there's way too much barking. Way too much. And there's one dog that just, once it starts barking, it can bark for like 3 days straight and doesn't stop. So anyway, so it's essentially open floor, like I said, so have at it. Oh, did you happen to have Saturn influencing your 8th house somehow? Like actually looking at it, or actually Saturn in the 8th? Because if so, well, that's one of the effects of it. I'm trying to think. I remember, because if that's the case, then yeah, that's one of the effects of it. You just walk away from like like something that could have, made you hit the game over screen and just be all, oh, that missed, and just walk away like nothing even happened. And everybody's like, how are you still alive? What? You rather me be gone? Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Actually, true story. When I worked at, I can't remember where it was, but I was working somewhere, and I couldn't come in because I got attacked. And I was calling them to let them know that, hey, I just got attacked. I can barely walk. My, I think it was, yeah, it was this eye. My right eye pretty much got cut, and yeah, I can barely move. And what they told me was this. So I can't come into work because I got attacked. Oh, I'm disappointed, Brendan. Disappointed in what? Me surviving or not dying? Which one? Backed him in the corner with that one. Which one, Cupcake? You're disappointed with which outcome? Which one? Surviving or not dying? Awkward silence. Yeah. Ah, Lord. Still. And yeah, I mean, that place, it just disgusted me working there. I get no break, meanwhile everybody else gets a break. Like, okay, well, screw you guys. That's okay. Because I obviously don't work there anymore. And the people that did work there, come to find out, they were kind of mocking me over me having having my Asperger tendencies. Like, okay, you think you're cute? Okay. Shortly thereafter, that place got shut down because of health reasons. Well, that sucks. So, yeah, that place was a hot mess. Well, that's what happens when you work for fast food. Oh well, it is what it is. And they even did this too. When they took me off the schedule, suddenly without any indication or cause, or anything at all, not even informing me, you know what they said? Essentially, when I went to go and file an employment, they said I quit. But when I went back, before even filing for an employment, no, it wasn't. It wasn't McDonald's. Still, when I went to file an employment, they actually said I quit. And I'm like, well, here's the thing, Milkshake. At the time, the Psy, I don't use for like pointing out directions, but I do use them for magical reasons. But that part is like my little secret part. But yes, I do. But pretty much, these twat heads, A whip? Yep, you can use a whip too for the same thing, but the whip, you probably would use that, like say, if you're going to use it for puppet work. Joke's on you, dude, because they're the same blood. Except Melina has a slight twist. Same blood, but Melina just has a twist. Mm-hmm. Actually, speaking of that, Melina's over here just like, sister? And Katana responds with like, you're an abomination. And all she wanted was just, just to have her sister be friends. That's it. But no. Katana had to be judgmental. That's why, at least in the original Mortal Kombat 2, Melina was the best character over Katana. Show her a thing or two. Stop it. But yeah, that's such a... Hold on. But anyway. So when it all came down to it with that place, I pretty much went down with my mother when they told me that I wasn't on the schedule anymore. And I'm just all like, why am I not on the schedule anymore? Because of my availability. Well, that's odd, because when I applied and I got hired on by a coworker that I used to work with, that she actually was running the restaurant then, it's like the district manager. How come when I applied, I said I had open availability? 100% open availability. But his availability isn't as open. Open availability, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, completely open. Not enough availability? Okay. And he doesn't know how to work the other board. Because I wasn't shown how to work the other board? But that's none of my business. Okay. Okay. But still, nonetheless, they said, well, you quit. No, I got taken off the schedule. So why are you lying? Not even that, too. They even said this, too. Actually, they didn't say this. When I actually took in the thing that they had to fill out, they didn't fax it over. So guess what I had to do? I had to literally go in and literally had to sit and wait for them to actually physically fill it out, and had to say, did you fax it? Do you have the fax receipt? Oh, you want me to do it right now? Duh! Now. And actually have them hand me that fax receipt. Yeah, they were that pathetic. And even then, too, they ended up lying and saying that, well, he quit. And I even have the letter that I wrote to the department of whatever it's called here, and let them know that, hey, well, just so that way it's aware, I never quit, and I was not treated the best. And I told them about like what they said to me when I got attacked. Yeah, they kind of got, table flipped on. As far as I'm concerned, well, they deserved it for being, dimwits. If thou is not a dimwit, then thou shall not be treated as a dimwit. In all due respects. But yeah, people nowadays just make me just go, why can't you just do the simple thing of just doing what you're supposed to do and get it over and done with instead of just doing this? Well, I lost the paperwork. Maybe if you stop sticking your finger up your nose and poking your brain, you probably would actually be able to understand what to do. Use more. And I'm thinking about it. Tomorrow, well, not either tomorrow or the day after, I should be finally getting my star garnet, my, I call it vampire eye. It's really a red tiger's eye. Not tiger's iron, that's different. And a star garnet, or ruby. I don't think I said ruby. But yeah, this ruby is about the size of this. I swear to Lorlinda, Zeus, if you bark again, I'm not gonna have it. Oh, that's not Zeus. That just so happens to be that dog that once he starts barking, he doesn't even know how to, stop himself. Oh no, it's not the right size. There we go. Essentially, I'm going to be getting in mail, hopefully, maybe luckily tomorrow. The size of the ruby is about the size of this. Yeah, a tumbled honker-sized ruby that big. Mm-hmm. Like, Well, you know what they say about big rubies. No. Nasty. Even then, my piece of kunzite is bigger than that. Mm-hmm. I just love kunzite. Kunzite is like my literal stone of fandom. Don't put underwear on your head. This world, I tell you, is like, in order for you to become famous, it's like you gotta act like you're trying to try out for the next Jackass movie. It's kind of a little bit of a bit questioning to get your fame by being stupid. Like, well, finding a Venus and deity of Venus is actually quite simple. I'll just start naming off a few. Let's see. You got Lucifer. You got Aphrodite. You got Shukracharya. A Thor. Technically, you could also say Hera. Because a marriage, well, yeah, that one's self-explanatory. Freya, that's another one. Shen, but that was kind of like a... Well, he's actually known as the gay rabbit god, okay? So that's another one. Technically, that counts. Adonis. I wouldn't say Lilith because Lilith is more moon, but also dark moon. If you even want to get extra fancy, you can even use one of the left-hand divines, such as the Dantalion. He's a sweetheart and he's a riot. Like a riot because he'll make you laugh a lot. At least he makes me laugh a lot. Let's see. Trying to think of other ones off the top of my head. I don't know if you would consider Zavos or Solos one. Probably most likely, yeah. Oh. And yes, I'm using Kendra's book as a potential reference again. Hey, you know what? This book has more than just using stones to make someone have a miserable life, okay? Let's see here. And usually, if I just look, I can actually just tell based on what kind of stones they have. Well, obviously, this first one. I know Dentalion is a Venus left-hand divine. Because there's one there. I don't know, Picante wouldn't be one. No, that one wouldn't be one. I don't think, what's that one's name? What is the name of that one that's like the one that can speak Egyptian and it looks like a camel? Vol? I think that's his name? Or her name? I think it's Vol. I think. I could be wrong, but I believe it's Vol. Oh, look at that. This one. Believe that's another one that's a Venus? I think. But again, take it with as much salt as you can bear. Having hot flashes. What? Oh boy. So tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow I'm going to be starting the I'm going to be starting with Aries, and if I get to Taurus, yay. If I don't, well, knock me out. So probably expect me tomorrow morning. I'll probably arrange the time when I might be going live, hopefully. But the scenery might be different. But if anything, I'll probably talk to you guys then. And even then, super chats are also turned on, I hope. If they're not turned on, I'm just going to table flip on this bloody thing. See. Oh, that cake's a lie. But anyway. So I will see. Wait. Honey Bear. Milkshake. Why'd you do that? Okay, good. Thanks for letting me know, Kayla. Good. Kinky. Oh. So I will see y'all tomorrow, or maybe even I might come back on later tonight if I'm bored or anything like that. So we'll see what happens then.